Stop! 2 weeks ago I promised you a theory video that potentially could explain everything. Well, here we go.
Really glad that you're our friend, and this is a friendship that'll never ever end.
April 22nd, 2019, the very first time we saw Bray Wyatt peer around the door of the Firefly Funhouse, and ever since we've been absolutely captivated with everything that Bray Wyatt has done. Everything Fiend, everything Cult Leader, everything Funhouse has been topic of discussion for the internet wrestling community ever since. The Funhouse itself works on so many levels. We sit here and theorize so much stuff about the Funhouse. Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong, but the ultimate question has never yet been answered. What is the reason behind the entire Firefly Funhouse? Well, hopefully this theory video will explain a few things. Maybe we've worked it out, maybe we haven't. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Like the video, and if you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and share it with your friends as well. Now, the original episodes of the Firefly Funhouse was used as a gateway for WWE to introduce us to this new character, the Fiend. An alter ego of Bray Wyatt, but not just any alter ego, a sick, dark, twisted, demented Fiend. And this Fiend has wreaked havoc on WWE ever since. He's come in and he's literally destroyed everyone he's come up against.
Erase your mind.
And when you look at the former opponents of the Fiend, the former victims of the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, you clearly see one common thing that Bray Wyatt himself has hinted at on WWE TV. He's told us on Twitter many times he has history with all these men. Not only that, but they've all done him wrong. Therefore, the Fiend is here in WWE in 2020 to correct the mistakes from Bray Wyatt's past. So why is it not logical that the entire reason for the Firefly Funhouse is to use the demon, the Fiend, to correct those wrongs and make things right? And when that's all said and done, we need to ask the question, who deserves the ultimate punishment? Who deserves to have their circle permanently erased? Of course we're talking about the legend killer, Randy Orton. Of course, a lot of people will say this is a dream match. The Fiend versus Randy Orton. I think out of all the people who have done Bray Wyatt wrong in the past, Randy Orton is probably the guy. He's probably the guy who's done more to Bray Wyatt than anybody else in the history of Bray Wyatt's career. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing that Braun Strowman left the Wyatt family. He got gut. John Cena beat Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. He got gut. Daniel Bryan turned his back on the Wyatt family. He got gut. Seth Rollins beat Bray Wyatt in a feud. A lot of people say the Wyatt family should have won. He got gut. And Finn Balor and Bray, well, they had a match that was built to the heavens, and it just never happened. But Randy Orton, well, he pledged his allegiance to Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family. He even won SmackDown Tag Team titles alongside Bray. At TLC, they beat Heath Slater and Rhino. And then we had Randy Orton turn up solo in the Wyatt family compound. And he told Bray Wyatt, who was stood in the ring at the time, that this is Bray Wyatt's world. It's not his world. And it never was. Now, Orton had won the Royal Rumble, but he then proceeded to burn down the Wyatt family compound. Everyone remembers this, and it's probably the biggest wrong to ever happen to Bray Wyatt, because not only was this his compound, this is where Sister Abigail's resting place was. Sister Abigail was dead and buried underneath the Wyatt family compound, and Randy Orton burn it down to ashes. That's huge. Not only that, but Orton would go on to WrestleMania to defeat Bray Wyatt for the WWE Championship. a title that everyone thought Bray deserved. So when you, again, look at all these people, you now see what I'm saying. They've all done Bray wrong, but they haven't done Bray the wrongs that Randy Orton has caused Bray Wyatt. So maybe he's working his way through all of these people one by one until we reach the Viper, until we reach the Legend Killer, and Bray can finally get some big revenge. Potential little side theory here. Maybe that's why the Abby the Witch puppet tells us multiple times in the Firefly Funhouse that she's stuck in limbo. Maybe because her resting place was destroyed by Randy Orton. Maybe that's why Sister Abigail's spirit isn't resting. And when you see Bray Wyatt, when you see the Fiend, you see the hurt and heal gloves. You see Bray Wyatt listen to them. He listens to the voices in his head. Get it now? I think this whole thing is a delusion of Bray Wyatt. I think the Firefly Funhouse puppets are memories. They're things that Bray Wyatt has had talking to him. They're things from his head that he's projected into inanimate objects to represent his past like we're currently seeing. That would explain so freaking much. We know that the lantern talks to Bray Wyatt. In reality, it's an inanimate object. It doesn't move. It's not real. It's not alive. But in Bray Wyatt's head, it is. And cult leader Bray talks to him through the lantern. And that is why we see it. Maybe that's also a reason why the Fiend attacked Legends when he first came to the WWE. Remember, he attacked Finn Balor, and then after that, he attacked Kurt Angle, Mick Foley, he attacked Jerry the King Lawler, among others. And maybe that's the reason why. Randy Orton is the Legend Killer, and the Fiend wanted to do something similar to what Randy Orton does, to get that memory, to build up the strength. And maybe that's the reason we're seeing the career resurgence of the actual Legend Killer himself. We're seeing the Legend Killer gimmick back. We're watching Randy Orton do the Edge, Christian, Big Show, what he did to Legends over 10 years ago. Maybe. I mean, we all know what a creative genius Bray Wyatt himself actually is. The entire Firefly Funhouse is rumoured to be his idea. Not only that, we've seen his creative genius with the cinematic matches recently. A WrestleMania with a Firefly Funhouse match with John Cena, and at Extreme Rules with the Swamp Fight with Braun Strowman. Bray Wyatt had a lot of creative control over that, and Bray Wyatt is telling his story, and Vince McMahon and the WWE are letting him. Now, yes, that will take detours, like Goldberg, but Bray Wyatt will explain that. He explained Goldberg by literally saying he's not part of his story. So, although, yeah, it's bad booking, Bray's storytelling is perfect. So maybe the story ends when Bray Wyatt gets the ultimate revenge. When he targets the man who did him more wrong than anyone else, Randy Orton. Now, you want an example of Bray Wyatt's genius? We always talk about Easter eggs, right? Well, there's been an Easter egg on this screen the entire time. Do you see it now? How about now? It's this shape. This shape appears multiple times on the intro to the Firefly Funhouse that we see every single episode of the Funhouse. Now, the Firefly Funhouse letters fit into it perfectly. You literally see it in the actual Funhouse logo as well, that they're pulled forward a little bit more to fit the letters of the Firefly Funhouse logo perfectly. But why are every single cloud in the background shaped the same? Maybe this shape has got another meaning. Maybe when you look at it, maybe there is another hidden logo inside the Firefly Funhouse logo. Something that's hidden in plain sight, but yet it won't make sense until it's revealed by Bray himself. Now, I've looked around at history of WWE logos and superstar logos and everything else you can think of, and I can't see one that's similar to this shape at all. This could be something new. We don't know. But if you think you know, let me know in the comments section down below. Now, how are we going to reach this huge dream match between Orton and Wyatt? We've already said that Orton is on Raw, Bray is on SmackDown. That's a problem. Well, Survivor Series is coming up. It's the one night of the year that Raw, SmackDown, and sometimes NXT superstars collide in matches. There's a lot of news around at the moment that possibly SummerSlam could see Randy Orton beat Drew McIntyre for the WWE title. We all know that Bray Wyatt's been feuding with Braun Strowman, the Universal Champion. Could it not be possible that both Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton win their brand's world title ahead of Survivor Series and build up to that big marquee match? I mean, you've also got that little clause that superstars can show up on each other's brand once or twice or 3 times a year or whatever it is. Or you've even got the WWE draft. Now, the 2019 draft took place in October, as you can see on screen. Maybe the 2021 will as well. Nothing's been confirmed by WWE, but with everything going on, they're going to want to shake things up a little bit maybe. So maybe we'll get it that way. Maybe we'll get Orton versus Fiend by proxy of WWE swapping them in brands. Maybe it will just be a big blowout match for Survivor Series. Either way, it's a match I really, really want to see. So maybe that is the entire reason for the Firefly Funhouse. A sick, demented psychopath who puts all those voices in his head to work to channel that anger towards the one person who did him the most wrong in his time. And I genuinely think that's right. I don't see the logical reason for this psychopath who hears voices in his head to allow those voices the control they have over Bray and everything in WWE, unless it was to get revenge, especially when you look at those former opponents and former victims. It kind of does make sense. But thank you very much for watching this video, guys. If you'd be so kind, hit the subscribe button. Of course, you can check out the other video playing on screen right now. And of course, like this video. It does help it rank up on YouTube. I will see you, as always, next time. Peace!